What's up, everyone?
Fourth and one.
Love that.
Our sports podcast.
The New York Football Giants. Love that.
What's up, everybody? This is episode number 22 of Fourth and One Sports Podcast. Fourth and One is presented to you by Why Am I a Nerd Podcast Network, where everyone is a nerd about something. My name is Sean Farrell, and sitting opposite of me is the golden voice of podcasting with his Mets hat on, Matt Ferrera.
That's right. Let's go Mets, baby. Let's fucking go Mets. Got Cohen in, baby. Let's go.
And the crew is all here. We have Ant the Statman. And giving the award to most likely going on a rant about fantasy football, we have Cameron James. On this episode of Fourth and One, we're back to talk fraudulent fantasy football, college football, the NFL, a quick New York Giants recap, a new game that Matt will thoroughly enjoy, and the return of Fourth and Win Sports Trivia. So what's up, everybody? What have you guys been up to?
I had a brutal realization over the weekend after Michigan lost to a team that we literally haven't lost to in my entire lifetime. I'm the oldest person on this podcast, and in my entire lifetime, we have not fucking lost to them. And I realized at the end of this that historically, I think one of the worst teams in the last decade or so has been the Orlando Magic. However, of all the teams I root for, both college and professional, the most successful team is the Orlando Magic this year. So,
wow,
fuck 2020.
That's actually putting things in perspective when you think about that.
Right? The only team to make the playoffs. They won one game, but shit, they made it.
Yeah, I'm actually the same. I'm the opposite of something happened. Something happened since when I was 4 years old, where Notre Dame knocks off a number one team. So that was I'm having the opposite type of season. Yeah, that was big.
Yeah,
that's big. We'll get more into it. I think what we really need to start off with, though, is there's a lot of controversy, not only in the world but in the fantasy football world. I'm a little confused because someone named Cameron James is making claims that the league is
no
fixed.
one can see me anyway, and I'm shaking my hand.
The league is fixed. So what the commissioner goes, he fixes the problem, but then the league is fixed again because he fixed the fixing of the league. I'm confused. Let's straighten this out here. Matt,
so,
what's going on here?
Before anyone says anything, we need to get something straight.
Oh, God. Here we go.
And I need you all to sit back and relax because I have a speech.
Hold on a second. Let me get all Ash Ketchum on it.
I saw him grabbing a prop, but once again, no one can see him. So
I have a speech to make.
Okay.
To the men and the women of the Fourth and One Fantasy League podcast, allow me to reintroduce myself. I am Cameron James the First. Today, I am proud to announce that I, Cameron James the First, will be nominating myself and running for the commissioner of the 2021 Fourth and One Fantasy Football League. I am a very responsible person who believes in the greater good. I am not shy. In other leagues, which will remain anonymous, I have proven to be the man to maintain peace and love. This year, in the Fourth and One Fantasy Football League, we've seen fraudulent activity, heartbreak, corruption by two of our own. Two men that I consider not only brothers, but family. They had one goal, which was to make sure that whoever one of them made it to the championship, they held their hand high at the end. From poor platform management that led to change of platforms in the last minute, to rules not being explained to a fellow friend that goes by Discount Double Chubs, who saved the league at the last minute, to recent suspicion on waiver wire activity. These two men are not the leaders we need to maintain a proper league that we all wished upon that night on September 4th, 2020. And now that one of them is not only in last place, but is falling further down the rabbit hole than ever before, continues to abuse his power by changing the amount of teams in the playoffs, only to make sure that one of them made the finals. After 8 painful, long weeks of fighting for what we all believed in, I will continue to fight for us during the back end of this season. I have a dream that one day, good, honest people of the Fourth and One Fantasy Football League and the corrupt men that go by the names of French Toast Daddy and the Golden Voice of Podcasts can come together to form the greatest football league ever created. If you vote for me, I will not disappoint you. Thank you, and God bless Ohio State.
Fuck Ohio State. You know, I was enjoying that whole little rant. God damn it.
And he drops the microphone and he's
Literally.
out.
I can't believe he doesn't have this at least recorded.
I think we know the clip on Instagram is going to be.
Oh, yeah.
Well, honestly, let's clap it up. That was very good, except for
one
his,
hell of a performance.
I mean, you have to leave it up to Cam to have some, grammatical and writing errors. Like, not only are you guys brothers, you're my family. And also quoting the great Martin Luther King Jr. in his fantasy football speech. That's pretty powerful. I mean, I think I'm a little worried that people are going to overthrow the current regime. And not to talk too much election, but we might have to have an actual election now.
Yeah, right.
I nominate Timmy Whalen because no one will ever beat him in a debate.
I'll nominate Sean Clemish so they can debate.
Oh my God. We're going to have just a battle out here. We're going to have primaries and stuff. Is that how we're going to do
it? Yeah. So you did switch the playoff teams to the original rules, which everyone was under the impression they were under. But I guess Miami Cam held that in his back pocket on you just to pull it out tonight.
He's eating Oreos, everyone.
You can't even share them.
It's his post-game speech snack.
Can't wait for everybody to vote for me next year.
You didn't hear who you have to run against yet. There's other candidates got nominated.
No, there's one candidate per side of the squad, and I nominate myself for my squad team.
Can you nominate yourself? I don't think that's how it works.
But
they're still writing. They're still writing candidates too. People can write people in.
No one's writing in Kanye West.
I mean, it doesn't have to be Kanye West, but if he did win, we'd have to invite him to the league.
It's true. That is true.
Whatever.
I mean, the guy's in first place.
I'm not in first place. Hold on.
He
I'm not
complains about everything. I mean, is this the man that you want leading this league?
After Batman told him to stop complaining.
He swept the 4th and 1 podcast.
Like, what do you want? He's probably the one rigging the league. He's probably accessing my computer, fucking with all the settings. Then coming back complaining about things are fucked up. Because I don't know how else the playoff bracket could have been corrupted.
You somehow managed to pair up Sean and myself. You can't win twice in a row. That's not how it works. I watched fucking Rocky.
Win twice in a row? What are you talking about? I won one game. Like, I can't even try to win twice in a row. The worst fantasy season I've ever had.
Oh man, I wasn't ready for the speech, but I'm glad it's a speech we needed. How long did that take you to write? That's what I really want.
I was doing dishes and me and mom's writing it all day.
Did you practice in that voice the whole time?
Yeah. I practiced to Jaden at work.
Oh man. Well, other than fantasy football, how was everyone's weekend?
Pretty good overall. It's nice to have some nice weather out there. I got a little, enjoyed a nice breakfast actually at our sponsor, Me Moms, on Saturday. It was quite filling and delicious. What the hell is that? What did you just open up? Where the fuck did you get a Gazette? Like, what? Can we somehow crop this picture in here?
Voting's over.
Wait, can I screenshot this?
For those that can't see, Cameron is reading an issue of the Gazette that says vote. He's pulling props. He's pulling all the stops. We're not even in fantasy election time, and he's doing everything he can.
He's got Uncle Sam pointing at us.
Yeah, I just saved a screenshot of this just so people know. Thank God for modern technology. But I'm sure that somehow I violated some rule and screenshotting without his permission.
God. Oh God. He acts like we didn't show him the bylaws of the league.
We went through the whole thing.
If Sean wasn't tied for first place in his division, and because you two are obviously in cahoots with one another, to find out who can take me
Yes,
down that
100%.
game, you would have never changed it.
If I didn't know, it was supposed to be 6 the whole time.
This is true.
You could have changed it like 2 weeks ago when I first brought it to your attention.
I forgot. You said it like in between. I think were we smoking? Something was happening that I couldn't change it right at the moment. You're supposed to remind me.
Yeah, I think we need. I think in a future commissioner, we need someone that's forgiving and
I forgive you guys.
He's the good in everybody. Oh man. Well, Matt, it's that time of the show where you're going to tell everyone where they can find us.
Just in case you people didn't know, you can find us on Instagram at WhyAmIANerdOfficial. That's WHYAM, the letter I, A Nerd Official. On Facebook and YouTube at WhyAmIANerd. That's spelled exactly the same way. And on Twitter at 4th&1pod. That's the number 4, THANDWON pod. Please like, rate, and review us. 5 stars would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you can, put a hashtag Fuck Ohio State on all future tweets for a potential shout out on the next show.
Your ass definitely ain't getting elected for commissioner. I'm bringing Ohio involved.
You don't even go to Ohio. Literally no one in the league has any affiliation to Ohio State.
I got people there.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
Oh, you have your cousin or something?
I got people. I will make a call.
How loud are his headphones that he took them off and still heard everything you said?
He's reading my lips. He just knows. Fuck Ohio State, fuck Ohio State, fuck Ohio State, fuck Ohio State. Yeah, see? They're pretty loud.
You will lose.
Oh, man. All right, let's get into some college football talk. To be good for me, not that great for Matt, but no. And let's get into this list here.
All right. Big congrats to Sean and the Irish for a big win against Clemson.
Thanks, Pat.
What does this mean for Notre Dame and Brian Kelly?
I mean, it was the hump that Notre Dame couldn't get over. We couldn't beat a top 5 team. We had an awful record. And I know people are going to say, hey, they didn't have Trevor Lawrence. They didn't have this guy. They didn't have that guy. We needed to win that game regardless. And where it would have been the same old story for us as Notre Dame fans that we can't win big games. Notre Dame looked like they can contend. Maybe they don't win the next time if they play them, but they needed to win this game, especially with all those players out, because they would have just been the laughingstock of college football, even with a solid, potentially top 5, top 10 team. It was a great game too. It was a close game. I'll tell you what, Clemson's quarterback, DJ Ugalele or whatever his name, however you pronounce his name, that dude has a cannon. Like as a 5-star, top quarterback behind Trevor Lawrence, they already have the next number 1 draft pick in waiting. That guy, it's not a good comparison because he didn't have success in the NFL, but Jamarcus Russell, just that kind of arm that guy had. He, apparently, I heard this on a Notre Dame podcast I listened to, that there was a recruit on Clemson who was a freshman, and he had the option. They gave him the option to play defensive end or tight end. Those were his 2 positions. And he opted to play defensive end, so he did not have to catch passes from that quarterback.
Wow.
Because apparently he throws so hard that he, legitimately hurts your hand. And I don't know. It was a great game. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I haven't seen a game like that in my lifetime that Notre Dame played in where they actually win, or that I can remember that they actually beat a big team. So yeah, it was great all around. I was celebrating all the way through. If anyone else had if wants to chime in, I don't know if Matt, Michigan fan, has anything to say, but.
I mean, honestly, it's a huge win for you guys. I feel like that's got to be great motivational factors. Yes, Trevor Lawrence wasn't in the game, but it doesn't take away from the fact that it's a championship caliber team with or without him. But to speak about my personal favorite college football team, they broke my heart in a way I didn't know could be broken. We haven't lost to them in 30 plus years. What the actual fuck is going on? I don't know what Harbaugh's doing. I can't imagine he makes it through the year like this unless by some miracle he crushes Ohio State. and fuck Ohio State for the record. I really don't know how he stays, with the program following this year, despite the fact that he's a legend and revered in Ann Arbor. So you guys might not be known for winning big games. Apparently we can't even win small games. So I don't know what the future is for Michigan.
Yeah. I think we'll get a little more in depth in a question down the line, but I'll give you your Harbaugh meter on a 1 to 10 if you see him staying, but just ponder that for a second.
Yeah.
Number 2.
Where do you expect the Irish to go from here?
Look, we have Boston College in 1993. Notre Dame beat Florida State. They upset them. They were the number 1 team, just like Clemson was. And the next week, guess who we had? Boston College. And what happened? Boston College upsets Notre Dame. So, when you take out the biggest team in college football, I believe Clemson was in their last 80 something games, they're 76 and 5 or 6, which is insane. Like Matt said, they're just, no matter, like Matt said, Trevor Lawrence was out. They had players out. They're they're in Alabama. They're producing NFL players every year. They just restock. They constantly have super talented athletic guys, and it's insane. I see us meeting back up with Clemson in the ACC championship.
That would be pretty cool.
If I think we hold the tiebreaker, even if we lost one game, that we would still go and play. So, I think we'll play them again, and I honestly don't know what's going to happen. I said this last week. I wish they had all their players because I don't want to create that.
Yeah, you don't want that asterisk.
That what if scenario. Oh, they didn't have this guy, they didn't have that guy, but. I think Notre Dame can win out. They have to stay focused. They're going to have a target on their back now. But I see us rematch with Clemson, and I hope, on that podcast we can talk about it a little more. Let's go to the
question. Was that game? I don't remember. Was that home or away for you guys?
For what?
This match? Yeah, this past week.
It was a home game.
Gotcha.
I was praying that they would get typical South Bend, Midwest weather. And I think it was 65, 70 degrees that night. So
you never know. I mean, you could get that the next round,
I think,
if you own the tiebreaker, you might have another home game.
Yeah. I think they do play that conference championship game in Charlotte though, but I'm not 100% sure on that. I have to double check. Let's go to the next one.
Can Clemson bounce back and make it to the CFP?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean,
no disrespect.
Yeah. 76 and whatever I said, 6 in their last, however many games is insane. They've been in the college playoff every single year. If I'm not mistaken, they might've missed it 1 year, but they're there every single year since this thing has become a actual playoff. It's hard. You can't count them out for that.
I'll tell you what they need to do is expand it though, because it's getting annoying, and it's not as bad as when they were just picking random teams. Like, all right, fuck it, you're the champion. But there are steps that need to be taken here to kind of expand it. Like, we need more than 4 teams.
Yeah, I think they were looking at doing that, but I kind of think this whole pandemic kind of put a halt on it for now. And maybe there's been 1 or 2 years where there's been some controversy about who that 4th team is. I know there's a lot of arguments like, oh, if so-and-so was in it, they wouldn't have gotten crushed by this team, or, there's always those. But even if you go up to 8 teams, you're still going to have that argument. Oh, that should have been the 9th team should have got instead of the 8th team, but I think if they did expand, they can make more rules, like all the conference champions get in. And then you have X amount of at-large bids almost, which would be good. More playoffs is great. I mean, I think everyone's doing it right now. The NFL is going to expand. MLB obviously expanded. It was good for them. You can't go much bigger in the NBA, but I think they're looking at least changing some things for their playoffs. So change is good. Different things, more playoff. You want that playoff intense atmosphere for whatever you're watching. The end of the season gets a little rough. Why not cut a little bit of that out and kind of give us some more games that mean something? Yeah,
I'm all for it.
Let's go to number 4, Ant.
Does ACC have a chance to get 2 teams into the playoffs?
I honestly think it'll be pretty tough. Obviously, you're going to have a scenario where if Notre Dame and Clemson play again and Clemson wins, what are they going to look at to say, hey, both these teams should be in that top 4? If you have an Alabama, a fucking Ohio State, I don't. Yeah, but it's tough. There'll be some other contenders that have good records that they're gonna have a case. And if you have one loss and there's an undefeated team, it's gonna be a tough pull. But I don't know what we can do, or I don't know, Matt. What do you think about that? If you have that one loss, if Notre Dame beats Clemson, then that's one team in the ACC that's in. Clemson has 2 losses. The only scenario is if Clemson beats Notre Dame.
It's definitely possible, but like you said, it's a really slim chance. Especially the fact that the SEC is always kind of loaded. I feel like they tend to dominate that, and then those fucks in Ohio tend to take up that third spot. So it is definitely going to be tough, but it is possible. But again, I'll bring this back up. That's the reason I would love to see them expand the actual playoff, because it's the same as like with the NFL playoffs. Like anything can happen. You've got what was this, like 10 years ago? Bless you. Teams like the Seahawks coming back and upseeding the defending champion Saints in a game that nobody expected because the Seahawks had a losing record. That's the kind of thing I would love to see in college, especially because college is even more unpredictable for college is even more unpredictable.
And back to our regular scheduled programming.
Maybe we take a time check there and just edit that part out.
Oh man, yeah. He's in control of the time. So hope all is well in the Montefort household. I wish him the best. He may or may not be coming back on this podcast. He may or may not be alive. I don't know.
What happens with that if you're running for commissioner or something and you fall ill or become deceased? What is the line of succession there? Do you have like a co-person that runs under you that automatically takes the ticket?
Actually, that's a good person. We got to see who's running as his vice commissioner, co-commissioner.
Didn't that happen recently in a state? Some guy got elected and he passed away from COVID.
Yeah, I think it was a senator. Like he died and still got elected, which is crazy that they didn't update the ballot. So I guess people voted before they went in. I really don't know. That is nuts, but we're going to have to follow and learn from that and I guess apply it to 4th and 1 Fantasy 2021.
Yeah. Seriously. Uh-oh. All right. Well, we can pose that question for him when he gets back on. Who is his co-commissioner and his running mate? I don't know what time he has till announce it, but we will find out this episode. Let's move on. Matt touched on in the beginning, and let's go on to our next guy here.
What's going on with Michigan? Losing to Indiana for the first time since the 80s. Could this be a sign of the end of the Harbaugh era?
I think it absolutely is. I mean, he's gotten a lot of good faith, a lot of goodwill. He's, like I said, absolutely revered in Ann Arbor. They completely love him there, as well they should. But I think this might be one of the last nails in the coffin. Like, he hasn't won the quote-unquote big game. We're not seeing the bowl game wins we expected. We're not seeing beating Ohio State as we expected. We haven't beaten them since Denard Robinson was not laced up in his cleats. So something's got to change. The big question is, who can possibly replace him there? That's literally huge shoes to fill. Don Brown's defense has been amazing, but the offense, even with Joe Milton and all his athletic talents, isn't quite looking like a powerhouse itself. We're not seeing those, huge plays where we're tearing the field apart. So something definitely has to give. Unfortunately, I think that's something is Harbaugh's job. He might not get fired. He might choose to leave and go back to the NFL temporarily. I hope to God if he does that, he doesn't go to Ant's fucking Cowboys. But we'll see. Because I think that's a realistic possibility for him. I think he would actually be pretty good there, and I don't want to see that.
We need all the help we can get. So
I got a prediction for him if he does leave Michigan. How about those New York Football Jets? Then he could actually get the quarterback he needs.
That would actually be pretty interesting. I could kind of see that working.
Yeah, the big name, big splash, number 1 pick.
They're pretty much going to blow up that roster, I would think, too. Like, there's not too many pieces to keep there, and they've got a ton of picks over the next few years. He could really entrench himself, and he has that personality that I think New York would, love to write headlines about. That's a really good pick.
Yeah. No, realistically, Matt, on a scale, 1, Harbaugh is gone this year. 10, he's not going anywhere. where do you think it falls as of right now?
I think right now he's at like probably a 2, maybe a 3, but probably a 2. I think the things that could bring him back, like he would gain probably 6 points in safety from, probably actually take it back. He would gain 10 points in safety from beating Ohio State. If he beats Ohio State, he's good. He's locked in. He's a legend. They're going to build a statue. If he beats Ohio State and wins a bowl game, he's staying there till he dies. Like that's really all it would take. That's how low the standard is.
He has a lifetime contract, I believe, or something close to it.
He's got something close to it. I don't think it's quite lifetime, but yeah, that's why I think that's what would have to happen. If he beats Ohio State, then like he's locked in. Nobody's going to question him ever again. That's literally the only thing he has to do. But he did start some shit with Ryan Day, and I hope Harbaugh, backs it up and answers this. But Day threatened to drop 50 on us this year. So if I have to personally go out and suit up, I'll get back in shape now. I'll drop that. What did I run that? What was my horrible 200-yard time? Like 27 seconds. I'm ready to dust off the old cleats and fuck them up.
Are you in now? How much faith do you have in this team? Are you willing to make another bet with Miami Cam on that game?
Oh wow! Look at this guy just perked up. You can't see it, folks, but he's alive.
He's alive as well. We don't know what we heard in the background before, but Miami Cam is alive.
His face. Somehow you said the letter L. I don't know.
Oh. Yeah.
Wait.
Now he's flustered. So maybe we'll give it a couple weeks. See if
I want to make a bet.
What kind of bet do you want to make?
Well, let's see. It's already.
I'm basically already going to have to do the fantasy one.
I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, I've accepted that.
I don't know. We're doing a bet. Wait, first of all, what are we betting? Why are we betting? What's this bet even about?
Wait, hold on. Do we need to get like a mediator in here? Why are you just all of a sudden ready to bet, but you don't know what or why we're betting?
Because I just heard Ohio State and then Sean say, you want to make a bet with Miami Cam. And I hear Ohio State and bets. That normally means your ass is getting embarrassed.
Oh.
All right. I basically automatically accept whatever this is. We do need to discuss the terms because it's not full on, but I got to.
What's the bet?
Boys. We got to determine that right now. We're figuring it out right now.
The bet would be the winner of the Michigan-Ohio State game. I'm assuming I know what side side Matt would take. Maybe not. Maybe he won, but then it's a pointless bet because Miami Cam is not going to take Michigan.
Nah, fuck those bitches.
But I think it's actually better to bet the spread by a certain date because the way Michigan's going right now, look, we'll give them a long shot, but it would make it more interesting if it was the score because depending on how close the score, if it's a closer game, because I think it's going to be, I don't know what it's, we probably could look at, someone could probably, can you look up what the spread of that game is right now and we can get back into it. Once Ant finds that out, we actually do have a question for Mr. Cameron James. Every commissioner has a co-commissioner. When will you be announcing who your running mate is? Because we also discussed, while we thought you were getting murdered, that
what's the line of succession?
Yeah, who's succeeding you in commissioner if something were to happen to you?
I have already made my decision. I am
okay.
Does it have to be somebody in the league or?
Yeah, it has to be someone in the
league. I made a phone call to, some other peeps, but I had made my decision already today when this gentleman came through with some good defense. We've been listening.
I already know who you're gonna say.
Yeah, so do I.
Who am I gonna say?
Discount double choke.
I was gonna say you.
Oh, what?
Wow. Pitting the podcast against each other.
Wow. Okay.
Ant's who I pick. Ant's my running mate. Ant, he stuck up for us today like a proud American man.
All right. There you go.
Okay.
All All
I
right,
don't know what we're fighting for, but
yeah, you guys might need to have a meeting since he was just surprise announcement on the podcast. Co-commissioner Cameron James is Anthony Valenti. Congratulations, Ed.
okay. Still, just doing some research.
They don't have a point spread on that game yet.
No, I can't find anything.
Maybe not.
When's the game?
It might be closer. It's December 12th.
But whatever it is, maybe we should just bet. You should bet the spread because, like I said, at this rate, Michigan's not looking
like
great.
35, and there's no way.
What's the bet going to be? Like that's one thing I really want to know here. Like, what are we doing to each other?
Oh, what's the pun? What is your?
You're not doing anything.
Yeah.
To me.
Well, then why don't you put something on it then? Put your money where your mouth is.
Okay, what's the bet then?
That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you.
Right, but
like,
the way you phrase that, you said we're gonna do something to each other. Like you're not doing anything to me.
Like something we're obviously betting for like embarrassment. It's obviously gonna be something embarrassing that happens to one of us. So like, well, what is it gonna be?
You have to walk around once again in a Ohio State uniform, eating
It's the same thing.
Eating Planters nuts, screaming, "I love nuts in my mouth."
What's the what would be your thing for him?
That's what I'm trying to think of. It's obviously got to be something.
I think you should have Cameron just dress up as literally Wolverine and walk around his neighborhood or walk around the mall or, maybe do, you know how they pose for pictures in New York City, which I highly doubt they're doing. That would be
one of those. See, he would love that though. He would absolutely love to be Wolverine. So it's not even really a punishment.
Yeah,
we'd have to find like an embarrassing Wolverine thing.
Like,
where,
he dresses up like the actual animal. Not like
that'd be pretty funny.
But this is you. You got to think about it. I'm just throwing ideas out there.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Like I might need time to come up with something really extreme.
Me too.
What? No, you just said what yours is going to be.
Not if you're going extreme. That was like PG.
And to be fair, there's even though I'm loath to admit this, there's a greater chance that I have to do your punishment than you have to do mine.
Not if the point spread is something stupid.
Oh, sure. If we're going off point spread.
I think
couldn't find anything.
All right, well, we'll check on that as the game approaches. But in the meantime, you guys think of what's going to happen, and we'll have to announce it.
Oh my God! I should make you open
when the spread comes out.
I should make you open yellow and blue glitter bombs on people, like on the boardwalk, and then if they get mad, you just got to run out of the way and escape them,
like some Impractical Joker shit.
Yeah, some Impractical Joker shit. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Actually, we'll have to do something crazy like that. I'm gonna look up Impractical Joker punishments. Actually, maybe that's what we should do. Oh God, I'm going to regret the fuck out of this. We should look at different Impractical Joker punishments and pick one for each other, and then we have to go through it that way.
I know what the worst one would be. If I bought a bunch of death nuts and made you walk around Pier Village going up to random people and be like, nut?
No bodily harm, because otherwise I was going to say you should be tarred and furred instead of tarred and feathered. I was going to get actual like Wolverine fur and be like, you got to like wear that, but like with like glue or something, but that's fucked up. We're not doing actual bodily harm.
All right, at least we're setting some boundaries here. All right, before we get out of hand here, and read our last college football question.
Is SEC in trouble with a slew of COVID cases popping up? Multiple games could be affected this weekend, including Bama versus LSU. It's now 4 SEC games and Ohio State versus Maryland.
Yeah, I think teams are going to be in trouble. I mean, I think this is getting a little crazy. Yeah, there's 4 SEC games that are now postponed. Ohio State versus Maryland is postponed. This is something you saw early with some of the other teams in college football happening to them, but this was like, early September, August. And I don't know how they're going to finish out this season. Look at like Wisconsin. They haven't been able to play any games. They might play only 6 games. How do you say that's like an actual full season? It's tough to say. I mean, is the problem the protocols that these schools are putting in place that the teams aren't following? I think there's probably a bigger issue there than, the teams are just one guy's interacting with one person. There's something they're not following through with.
Mm-hmm. I agree. Sorry.
You're
Throwing out my White Claw. But yeah, I'm in agreement with you there. There's something that's, I mean, again, like you said, I mean, I agree with everything you said. We knew it was going to happen. It's something we saw happen already. It's something that's probably going to keep happening. Even the NFL can't completely avoid it. So it's one of those, like, if they're going to insist on going through with the season, we need to be ready to kind of deal with this.
Yeah. I mean, I guess, professional sports is one thing where they can put in these protocols and the players don't have to be on a campus interacting with students. Obviously, colleges, you're not going to be able to control that, especially with younger human beings that just want to go out and socialize, and they're not probably as cautious as someone that's a little older would be. So I don't know what's going to happen. I think they're either going to have to cut down some games and try to figure out the schedule. I mean, luckily in the SEC, the weather's nicer down there. They could probably play longer into December. I think, if this is a Big Ten problem, they're going to have to figure something else out because the weather's just not going to cooperate with football season up there in the Midwest.
Yeah.
But I guess we will see how it plays out. It's going to be interesting. We got a couple NFL questions here, and let's jump into those.
Cool. Jets missed the win by that much. Flacco looked good except for the pick. Should the Patriots be worried after a near loss to the 0-9 Jets?
I think the Patriots are ready for that rebuild. I think they got to tear some stuff down. They do not look good at all. Now, I saw a Giants fan joking on Twitter, like, look what happens when Joe Judge leaves. The Patriots fall apart. Their quarterback leaves. It's all on Joe Judge. He was the reason the Patriots are great. So, I mean, I have to say I agree with that, but I think the Patriots should be worried. The Jets are not a good football team. Joe Flacco is not a good quarterback at this point in his career. He should have been an easy guy to get after in the pocket and make him make bad decisions. And he looked actually pretty good. And the Jets, I don't think they wanted to win that game and throw themselves out of the Trevor Lawrence sweepstakes, but the Patriots, I don't know where they go from here. What do you think, Matt?
I think Bill Belichick kind of nailed it on the head what he said the other day, where he was like, we were depleted. He's like, we sold out, not sold out in a bad way, but, sold out. Like they put everything they had into winning those years that they did. And they were wildly successful. They're in 9 of the last 10 Super Bowls. It's crazy.
Right.
It's LeBron James numbers. Yeah. I said, he's not but no, they kind of depleted their capital. And what's funny is I was just talking to a friend of mine. They're going to be pretty bad for a while because it's going to take them forever to restock some of those draft picks, which unfortunately is probably the same problem the Giants are going to have for the next few years. We just don't have the draft capital, even though we've got a younger team. But if you look at the Bills are already, playing very well. I'd say they're a premier team. They're going to be a playoff team. The Dolphins are looking better and better week after week, especially with Tua starting, and they have a huge number of picks. The Jets, while they're bottom of the league, have potential, and they have a huge number of picks as well. They've got something like 18 picks in the first 3 rounds over the next 3 years. So we're going to see improvement from all of these teams, and the Patriots are going to kind of get shuffled to the bottom of the deck there. So I think it's inevitable. I wouldn't be shocked to see Belichick retire, to be honest. To be like, I'm not fucking dealing with this anymore.
Yeah, I could see that. I could see that as well. There also was did we talk about in here a rumor?
We didn't, but I would love it.
That Belichick would come to the Giants and be their general manager. Is that what it was?
Oh, did we talk about it here? Maybe we did. I thought we texted about it. Yeah,
but we might have.
I would love that. I think that would be huge.
I don't know. I just don't see Belichick going out like this. I mean, obviously, it's going to be tough for him to, like you said, crawl out of this hole that they're going to be in maybe for the next couple of years. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. I could see him retiring at the season's end. I mean, like you said, he doesn't want to deal with this shit. He's used to winning. Let's go to the next one.
Jets GM says that Darnold is a future. Are you buying it, or is he just saying the right thing?
I mean, you got to say that to the guy at this point. But I think the writing's on the wall. Like, you can't pass up Trevor Lawrence if you have the number 1 pick. You can't.
You can't. No, I agree. You really can't.
You either have to get, exit like 6 first-round draft. Like, you can't pass up the guy that's being, proclaimed the next great quarterback, the best quarterback since Andrew Luck, Peyton Manning. Would you rather have that guy for the next, 15 years leading your team, or would you rather, stick with Sam Darnold? And you already see what he is. He's just as turnover prone as fucking Dan Jones. I mean, hasn't been that great. Yeah, the team around him isn't that good either. But
yeah, but he's only beaten 2 teams, I think, his entire professional career.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, I think the GM saying, give him a vote of confidence, saying the right things in the media, but I just don't. Behind closed doors, that can't be what their plan is. And if it is, then as a Jets fan, you have to be afraid. Very afraid. Let's go to number 3.
Tom Brady and Tampa Bay look rough in Sunday night game against New Orleans. What went wrong for the Bucs?
The New York Giants, I think, exposed a lot of what the Buccaneers were trying to do.
Yeah,
I think they showed how to beat them. You just run slants and you can pick apart their corners. And I don't know as far as their offense goes. I mean, I have no idea what happened, but they didn't look that great against the Giants either. So, as much as I want to say the Giants played amazing against the Bucs, maybe the Bucs aren't as good as we thought.
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the Bucs came into the season with a little bit too much hype and a little bit too overrated. Typically you don't see that kind of explosion outside of like Peyton Manning going to Denver a few years back. And like not all their weapons are healthy at the same time. I think it's kind of a factor too here. You got Godwin's out. Antonio Brown didn't make a huge impact. And Brady's in his 40s. Like, he's good, but he's not, going to have that. I don't know how to describe it. He did go to the greatest college of all time. So, like, there's obviously something left in the tank, but not as much as it was in previous years. So, I mean, I was never super in on the hype that they were going to be, the best team in the league, hands down. But I think they're maybe better than we saw last. Well, they're definitely better than we saw against the Saints. I'll take that back.
Yeah, I mean, do you believe in there's a conspiracy theory going around on Twitter and online about the Antonio Brown curse, that now he is going to poison any team that he comes to?
We're going to find out. I mean, that would be kind of crazy. The Steelers are just now bouncing back, and they're 2 years removed at this point, 1 year removed. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, didn't
work out for the Raiders.
Crazy. Yeah.
Look at the Patriots now. I mean, I don't know. He didn't
like
play long for
it.
I don't know what it is. It could be true, could not. I don't know. But all right, before we get into our quick Giants recap to talk about Big Blue, let's get a word from our sponsor.
Why Am I a Nerd podcast network has been brought to you by our sponsor, Me Moms. The best breakfast and lunch down the Jersey Shore with 3 great locations in Wall Township, Middletown, and Brick, New Jersey. Me Moms specializes in unique and fun takes on your traditional lunch and breakfast items. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m., You can find more information at www.memoms.com.
All right, and we're back. Let's just do a quick Giants recap. There wasn't much great things that happened in the game besides the win. It was a really back and forth game. In the text message, 4th and 1 Fantasy, we had a joke of who was getting Trevor Lawrence based on all the mistakes that were being made on both teams' parts. But the Giants do get a win. They are 1 game behind the NFC East leaders, Philadelphia Eagles, who we play this weekend.
Fucking wild.
Look, at this point, I just want to see what players are going to stick around, what players are going to get better this season. We're obviously not going to be a contender in the playoffs. If we were even to get in somehow.
I hope to God we don't get in. We cannot afford to blow that many draft picks and pick that late. We just cannot.
Yeah, I mean, there's good things happening. I mean, obviously, Daniel Jones looked a lot better this game.
The offensive line did too.
The offensive line looked good. You had, 3 rookies on the line. There's still no Will Hernandez, who, I like Shane Lemieux so far. He looks pretty good.
Yeah, he's nasty.
Matt Peart's playing great at right tackle.
Love it.
Andrew Thomas is getting a little better. So, we do have some things to look at as far as offensive line where we can, improve. The receivers are looking good. Running backs. I mean, I forgot to talk about this the other day, but the last game, at one point they're like, Alfred Morris runs by. I was like, when the fuck did we get Alfred Morris?
I said the same thing. They're like, he was just promoted from the practice squad. I was like, what? I was like, wait, he's still alive? Alfred Morris is still fucking alive?
And he looks great. He looks great.
He looks fresh. He's like 31. Like, what? Oh, my God. I never thought I'd see the day that we'd see Alfred Morris rushing for more yards on the Giants than Saquon Barkley. Like, what is this year?
Yeah, and I put that in my notes last time. I literally said, when the fuck did we get Alfred Morris? Like, how did I not hear about this? But apparently the NFL, I guess, had a rule where you couldn't have veterans on the practice squad, and they changed it this year. So you're going to see, you'll see like Alfred Morris. He was on the practice squad. Yeah. No one ever knew because no one thought he was going to get promoted. He gets promoted and he's looking like he's a rookie again.
Yeah, it's wild.
But you have any other thoughts on the game? I mean,
I think it's, and I apologize from the depths of my heart before I say this to the stat man over here, but what the fuck, dude? Carson Wentz, what are the odds he does something to his ankle this next game? Because the Giants defense has, tragically, I'm not a fan of this. I don't like to see any player get hurt, regardless of who it is. But like, dude, like 2/3 of the NFC, not 2/3. You know what I mean? 2/3 of the other teams in the NFC East have had season-ending injuries going against the Giants defense. I'm like, how is that happening? Like, I think that's a very strange coincidence that I honestly hope does not continue, because I don't want to put that kind of karma or ill will upon anyone. But like, needs to get mentioned. That's crazy. I mean, fuck the
Eagles. We can agree there. I don't know. I think the Giants do have a shot in this game. I mean, I don't want them to win. They're in every game. They're in every single game. I mean, how you can't? I don't see them like. I don't see the Eagles just being that team that just can blow them out. No one's looked like that. No one's looked good in the NFC East. It's been a dumpster fire. And the Giants are a win away from being the leaders in the division, which is insane.
It's insane.
Insane. What are you feeling about the Cowboys now, Ant? I mean,
I don't.
You got Gilbert Grape as his. Oh. I mean, they look good. They look good against the Steelers.
Gilbert I don't even know how long he's been in the league for, but he looked good.
Well, apparently Jerry Jones said that no matter what, Dalton's the starter when he comes back. So,
they should have started Gilbert. Well, they have a bye night this week, but start him again. See what happens. We literally have nothing to lose. We're already down.
Hey, NFC East is wide open.
It's literally.
No one knows what's going to happen, but should be an interesting game this weekend. NFC East fans tuned in for a wild finish in the division. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I don't want the Giants to win, but
yeah, I'm just like they shouldn't.
But I also kind of want to see them just build on what they're doing. They look like they're improving as a team.
Yeah,
they're playing hard for Joe Judge. Like he's not the problem.
Judge was 100% the right answer here. We need to get the fuck rid of Gettleman ASAP so we don't lose out on other top GM candidates. Like I honestly think he should be fired right now. There's no reason for him to still be there.
Yeah. I mean, if they're gonna get rid of him by the end of the season, just get rid of him now. Don't let him make any more decisions that can put us in a hole. But at the same time, if the Giants win games, how are we going to argue to fire the guy if they're winning games under?
Because they could have been winning games sooner and they could have been winning games better. He's still put them in an absolute shit position. He doesn't listen to. It's the same thing we say. I hate to bring politics into this about let me not put words in anyone's mouth. Same thing I say about how we need to get younger with leadership. We can't just have a 70-year-old dude run against a 75-year-old dude or whatever their ages actually are. Too far out of touch. It's tougher to understand modern things, I think. And Gettleman, in one of his earlier press conferences, was very against advanced analytics. He's like, oh, no, we don't need all that fancy computer guys. And he built a team that would dominate in the 1980s. And, here we are damn near 40 years later. Something's got to give. We need somebody younger who understands what the future holds, what the state of the NFL is right now, and will build a team to win in that landscape.
Bravo. Couldn't have said it better myself. We'll end the Giants talk on that. And now I have a new game for Matt here. This is a quick thinking game. It's called This or That. Okay. Your answers here, I'm going to tell you what the answers are. You're going to pick one of two things. The answer is either going to be Ohio State or a hole in the ground. Okay.
Or a hole in the ground?
Yes, those are your two. Those are the only two answers you can give me. I'm going to say something to you. You have to give me a quick fire answer on what you would choose, whether you prefer it more, whatever your reasoning is. It could be anything behind it. Okay.
So I can only answer from those two things, whatever you say. Oh, okay. God.
I only have a couple here, but I'll give you an easy one just to give you, I'll give you two. We'll start easy just to give you an idea of the games. Whoever knows what's going on. All right. The first one is a location where pirates bury treasure.
A hole in the ground.
Correct. Okay. The second
Of course, he comes back for this.
The second one, a school that unfortunately plays football.
A hole in the ground.
That's acceptable. That is acceptable. This is also opinion. Location you would want to meet your future wife.
A hole in the ground.
Which thing is more useful?
A hole in the ground. You can put stuff in it. You can cover it up. That's what they used to do before refrigerators. So fuck it. Bring it back. Throw some ice in a motherfucker.
Perfect spot for a family vacation.
A hole in the ground. Because you can show kids the different levels of like sediment and like rock faces. If you dig the hole deep enough and you have some kind of protective bubble, they can get a journey to the center of the earth going.
All right. Here's a good one. A dark place where people go to die.
Ohio State. Fuck them.
Strange creatures sometimes live here.
Ohio State.
And my last one here. Who would make a future presidential candidate?
A hole in the ground.
And that concludes this week's segment of This or That, looking at a puzzled Miami Cam's face.
You definitely joined in at the wrong time there.
Yeah.
What was that?
That was one of our new games.
Yeah.
This or that.
Oh, okay.
This was a hole in the ground. That was Ohio State.
This was a hole in the ground. That was Ohio State.
And
Yeah,
Sean asked
those are the
questions.
two things. Yeah.
Oh, so you can only answer that with.
Wait, hold on. Can we let Cam play the same game?
Sure. I don't know if he's going to get it though. I think he might be a little confused. But all right, Cam, you have two answers. You can only give two answers. It's either Ohio State or a hole in the ground. I'm going to read you some questions, and you have to answer. Pick one, whatever the best option is. Your preference. There's no right or wrong. Okay. The first one is a location where pirates bury treasure.
Ohio State.
Okay, interesting.
What?
A school that unfortunately plays football.
Ohio State.
You heard it here first, folks. Cameron said Ohio State is a school that unfortunately plays football.
Oh, you should unfortunately?
Oh, you can't take it back now.
Hey,
And
Ronnie.
that concludes this week's segment of this.
Why did I get two questions?
A location where you'd want to meet your future wife.
Ohio State.
Which item is more useful?
Ohio State.
The perfect spot for a family vacation.
Ohio State.
A dark place where people go to die.
Hole in the ground.
Strange creatures sometimes live here.
A hole in the ground.
And if either of these items were a future presidential candidate, who would you vote for?
Ohio State.
And I think you guys disagreed on every single one.
I think we got every single one completely backward.
Except for the football one.
Yeah, that's true. Because fuck them. I refuse to acknowledge them.
We are going to bring back right now a little fourth and win trivia.
Ooh.
Where Ant the Statman will go for his third win over the Golden Voice.
Oh my God. I can't win anything this year.
Let's go, baby.
Is anyone
Come on,
here
champ.
familiar
Come on,
with the movie The Replacements?
Yes.
Oh.
With Keanu Reeves?
That's the Keanu Reeves one?
It is Keanu Reeves' movie, yes.
All right. Let's see what I got.
Okay. Everyone is going to have one lifeline of you are allowed to phone a friend. And that will be whatever it is. It cannot be anyone here participating.
It's all of us are playing?
It's you versus the stat man.
All right.
Okay. Who would like to go first? Remember, if the person gets it wrong, the other person is allowed to steal the answer.
I'll think of a number, and whoever's closer can get it.
There you go. What's what between?
1 and 2.
There is no number between 1 and 2.
Oh. I thought you meant between two numbers. Like it's either a 1 or
1 and a
2.
half. I'm going to go 1.5.
1.75.
Okay, Ant. Question 1. What team did Shane Falco play for in college? Was it A, Southern Cal, B, Ohio State, or C, Alabama?
Was Southern Cal.
Ant, you are incorrect. Matt, to steal. What team did Shane Falco play for in college? Was it B, Ohio State, or C, Alabama?
This is actually a trick question. I see exactly what you did here. The answer is C, but you threw B in because that's where his character played football in Point Break.
What?
Sure.
You're both incorrect.
What?
The answer is
Fuck
B,
Ohio State.
Ohio
Get the
State.
fuck out of here. Are you kidding me?
That means
Are you kidding?
Yell at Snacks McQuicken, man. Yell at Snacks McQuicken.
No, I'm looking that up right now.
If he fucked this question up, he's not allowed on the show anymore.
Hold on. Who's going to write all the questions?
Yeah, sure. He's allowed on the show. I lied. Vote for.
Hold on. Yeah. Oh, God. It makes me. I looked up Johnny Utah played football in college, and the first thing to come up, the featured snippet, was the most Ohio State things about Special Agent Johnny Utah. In college, he was an accomplished quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. So let's look up Shane Falco was his name, I believe, in the replacements.
Yes.
Oh, my. You know what? Fuck you.
Fuck Keanu Reeves.
I was about to say it, but I love that man. But I want to. How do you play for them twice in 2 different... This is fucking garbage. Fuck Ohio State. God,
I honestly did not know that. So that's like a crazy fact.
That really is just the wildest thing.
I thought that was just thrown in there, so that's why I didn't pick it.
Yeah, no, that's 100%. I thought that was a trap. Wow, you know what, Snacks? You got me on that one. You fucking got me. I was like, this is a fucking trick. I love Point Break. I know for a fact that he went to that piece of shit college then. God damn it.
We're not talking about Point Break right now. You know that, right? That's not your question.
I know. I'm saying I thought he was trying to trick me because Keanu Reeves in Point Break played college for Ohio State. Fuck them. And then apparently it's the same thing in the replacements, which is a wild coincidence.
That is a crazy coincidence.
Did Keanu Reeves go there?
Maybe.
He better not have. Oh God, I don't want to.
Look that up.
I want to hate him.
It's Matt's turn. Okay, Matt. Question number 2. What country is Nigel the Leg Gruff from? Is it A, Ireland, B, England, or C, Wales? Nigel the Leg.
I'm going to go with A, Ireland.
You would be incorrect.
Fuck.
Ant. What country is Nigel the Leg Gruff from? Is it B, England, or C, Wales?
C, Wales.
You are correct.
Oh.
God damn it.
First point.
Choice. Oh.
Don't worry, Keanu Reeves didn't go there in real life.
Thank God.
Thank God. If he went for the trifecta, he would have been in trouble.
Yeah, I would never watch it. I worked on the website for the John Wick movies. You know, I would have been very upset. I would have to go back and undo everything. Where did he go to college?
North Toronto Collegiate Institute.
He's Canadian?
Doesn't even sound like a real place.
And De La Salle College.
Huh.
Interesting.
He was a successful ice hockey goalkeeper there.
We'll have to get him on the pod and ask him why he chose Ohio State for both those movies.
You know who we should get on the pod too? I don't know if there's even a way we can tag him in this.
James Cameron.
No, I was going to say, actually, I wonder, where did James Cameron go to college? Probably like USC.
James Cameron.
He went to Fullerton. I was saying, you know who we do need to get? A Michigan alum. The one person I'll concede my title here, he would be the diamond or possibly even the platinum diamond voice of podcasts. Michigan alumni, James Earl Jones. Now we can get him on here. That would be some shit. Mufasa himself.
In the flesh.
Darth Vader. Let's go.
All right, Ant. Question number 3. How many games do the Sentinels have to win in order to make the playoffs? Is it A, 3 or 4, B, 4 or 5, or C, 2 of 3?
So it's 3 or 4, 2 or 3, or 4 or 5.
Yeah.
That was worded real weird.
I'm going to go with 2 or 3.
You'd be incorrect. Matt, for a chance to steal and tie the game, how many games do the Sentinels have to win in order to make the playoffs? 3 of 4 or 4 of 5?
4 or 5.
That's incorrect. Which gives me another point, so now I have 2 points. And has 1 point. And that is at the bottom. Trivia is not his forte when he's surprised with the category.
And you know what's so too? I was gonna say normally I'm really good at trivia. Like in real life, I fucking win trivia all the time.
In real life,
in real life, that would Snacks McGuigan is out here and he's throwing trick questions at me with even trickier answers.
All right, well here's a tough question. Matt, what item does Clifford Franklin chase a guy down for in his intro? Is it A, a ho-ho, B, a Twinkie, or C, a moon pie?
Oh God, I don't even know. A ho-ho.
Everyone still has phone a friend option. So if you do need to call someone.
I don't even know who I would call about that. I'm gonna go with ho-ho.
That is incorrect.
Shocker. I got something wrong.
Anthony.
You know what? Hold on. Wait a second. Let me take a page out of Miami Games book. This whole game's rigged. Every time I answer a question, it's wrong. I'm set up off the bat. There's.
Oh, wow. Matt has been muted for those not watching.
That's brutal,
man.
Rude, disrespectful. Is this the kind of candidate you want for 4th and 1 fantasy league commissioner? Is this who you want in there? Is this your king?
And for a chance to steal, what item does Clifford Franklin chase a guy down for in his intro? Is it B, a Twinkie, or C, a moon pie?
Go with Twinkie.
Twinkie is correct.
Yeah.
Okay, there are 3 questions left. Matt, you would have to get all 3 of these.
Let's go.
Win. Or if you get 2, you tie and have a chance for a tiebreaker.
So if I get this next one right, I win automatically, correct?
Correct. You end the game.
And it's my turn.
And it's your turn. What does Fumiko, the former sumo, throw up on the field in the huddle? Is it A, eggs, B, sushi, or C, rice?
Wow. So racist.
Eggs, sushi, or rice?
If it's not A.
I don't think it is.
10 seconds.
Yeah, I'll go with eggs.
And Ant, You have won again.
Bro, that's the most racist question. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
I wouldn't say it's racist. I'd say it's stereotypical. If a sumo was to eat something.
Sushi or rice? You couldn't come up with like fried.
And the stat man, please look up a sumo wrestler's main diet. I just want to know.
You got it.
Matt, let's post game loss. You took another L in trivia. What do you have to say to your fans out there who have just been rooting for you this whole time to take home?
You guys deserve better from me. You should hold the golden voice to a golden standard here, and I'm not living up to it. I do hope one day to have trivia for a movie that I've watched in full, or at least seen parts of in the last 10 years.
Toxic
but I'll what?
Toxic Avenger Part 2.
Fuck everything about that movie, but I do feel like I would get the trivia right for it just because I've seen it recently enough. So let's bring it next time. I'd be happy to submit a list of sports movies that I have seen, and then we can go from there. If that's what we're going to do.
That's a good idea. And are you guys? When's your next Hero Cinema, or is that discontinued?
No.
It's continued. We just need to find a day. Both our schedules have been a little hectic.
I have a better proposition because I think the main thing about those movies is your reaction to them, right? And, Avengers probably didn't draw a strong reaction because you guys have seen it. I think we need to have people suggest the most outlandish movies ever made and have you guys watch them and get your reactions.
Actually, I don't hate that idea at all.
I think that's a better for reactions, and I'm not against the Hero Cinema, but I think we need to have you guys watch movies that neither of you have seen. A la the Toxic Avenger, which is outlandish, but it gave you one of the best reactions we've ever seen.
So we'll change it from I'm going to propose this name change too. We go from Hero Cinema to Cinema Heroes.
Oh,
and through these, and just see where we can go.
I like that.
I don't hate that idea at all. I'm kind of dead.
Then I'll go through the bag and I'll throw away all the good movies.
You're gonna go through that whole bag alone? I mean, I'll help you with it.
Hey, you can still keep them in there if you want to keep your thing going. I'm just saying.
I agree with that too. People should also suggest bad movies for us to watch, and we just have to suffer through them.
Yeah, it's I think it'd be funny because we
can have special guests too. You guys can be in on this and suffer with us.
I saw a article where someone watched. Apparently, it was like the worst horror movie ever made, and I think horror is a good genre where you can find really shitty
ones. Thanksgiving's really fucking bad.
Thanksgiving? No, but that's a good one for November with Thanksgiving coming up.
A turkey just murders a bunch of people.
Yeah, it is.
At one point, I believe it sexually assaults one of its victims. Yeah, and it's like,
wait, so have you guys both seen this? Because that's kind of disturbing at the same.
It's one of those movies that's so bad it's good. Yeah, it's a low budget horror flick.
I've seen the commercial, like the previews.
Oh, dude, I've seen the actual movie. I watched that with Kyle, who guest starred on one of the recent episodes of Yo, What Up.
I mean, I won't. I refuse to watch The Human Centipede though, so I'm
with you on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, you can approve or disapprove. I wouldn't make you don't have to watch everything, but I think you should agree upon a movie to watch that's like outlandish and crazy, just to get your reaction on it. Take some notes, maybe have a little reaction pod afterwards.
I'm down for it.
You want the sumo wrestler diet?
Yes.
They eat a stew called chunk nabe. It's filled with fish, vegetables, meat, and tofu. Then, to complement their mighty meal, they eat around 5 to 10 bowls of rice and copious amounts of beer.
Whoa.
Required for empty calories, they down as many as 6 pints during their midday meal. Right after that, they take up to a 4-hour nap. So their metabolism slows down so they can add everything to their girth. And then they have another big dinner, and that's it.
Jeez. I'm going to throw this out there. While we're throwing out challenges and new features for the podcast, for the next or for one of the upcoming Opinions Are for Assholes, we should all take a whole day. We hang out, the four of us, and we go through the exact stages of the sumo diet and see who taps out first. Like, we take a full day just to go through all this. Instead of a 4-hour nap, we'll play like video games or watch a movie or something.
I could take a 4-hour nap.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think Anthony would be down for the 4-hour nap.
I ain't no
man.
bitch, so I'm in.
Love it.
Before we finish, let's end on a sports-related note here. Cameron James, what do you have to say to the people out there for your upcoming campaign? Let's give them some final thoughts before this campaign really ramps up.
Just remember who the true Dark Knight is.
What? Like what?
And Matt, tell them where they can find us.
I was ready to make a campaign speech for myself, but you can find us on Instagram at WhyAmIANerdOfficial. Now, in case you weren't paying attention in the beginning, that's WHYAM, the letter I, A Nerd Official. You can find us on Facebook and YouTube with the same name at WhyAmIANerd, spelled exactly the way I spelled it before, WHY. On Twitter at 4th and 1 Pod. That's the number 4 THANDWON Pod. Please like, rate, review, and subscribe us. 5 stars, as always, would be greatly appreciated.
All right, everybody. Thank you for watching and listening. I'm Sean.
And I'm Matt.
Catch you next time.
Love that.
Sports Podcast.
The New York Football Giants